All right, here we go. Okay, here we go.
Okay, have I got a treat for y'all? So, the other day I had a mental health crisis, and then I had a kidney stone the next day. So I joked that I must be cursed by Mothman, because there's this Mothman curse, which I'll get to in a minute. But it seems to affect people that make art and media related to Mothman. And as a lot of you know, I'm working on a cryptid-themed album. It has Mothman on the cover, and there's a couple songs. There's a song called Mothman in it, about Mothman, and then an instrumental that's inspired by Mothman on it. So, and plus on my first album, I have an...
Whoops, sorry.
Inspired by Mothman on it. So, and plus on my first album, I have another instrumental inspired by Mothman, the last one on the album. So, you could say I might be a candidate for the Mothman curse to descend on me. So, without further ado, I will show you my book, Mothman, Evil Incarnate by Lauren Coleman, one of the foremost experts in the field of Mothman. And as it says on the back of the book, it says, Coleman expands on missing details from the movie, explores the deaths that followed the West Virginia incident, describes the recent Chicago Mothman sightings, and delves into the life of John Keel, this author of the Mothman Prophecies book, which inspired the movie. This companion book should find its place on every Mothman aficionado and cryptozoology fan's bookshelf. The mystery continues. Okay, so skipping to chapter 5. This is the part I'm going to read about the Mothman curse.
Nice.
Kevin is joining in. You can hear.
Doesn't he always, though?
So, those of y'all who aren't watching the Super Bowl now, if you're a nerd like me, you can watch this for entertainment instead.
You know it.
The aftermath. Diabolical demises, devilish deaths, and dastardly departures. In the end, it all came down to just one simple question. Which was more important, having proof or being alive? Trust me, I turned away years ago, and I've never looked back. Alexander Leak character, the Mothman Prophecies, is from the movie. It's a quote from the movie. Soon after the movie made its appearance, I began to notice a number of people were talking about the evil that seemed to surround the film. People associated with Mothman in the movie were dying. Yes, accidents do occur and deaths are expected over time.
Richard Gere movie?
But something more seems to be happening here. Of course, we have heard about such things before. Many Hollywood movies, particularly horror films, not surprisingly, are said to be cursed, including The Exorcist, The Crow, Attack the Conqueror, The Omen, Rebel Without a Cause, Rosemary's Baby, Superman, and Apocalypse Now. Wait, Superman's a horror movie? Wait, Apocalypse Now is a horror movie? No, I think I misread. Okay. But perhaps the best known example of a curse attached to a film is the one related to the Poltergeist film trilogy and its crews. It all began with the deaths of 2 young cast members in the 6 years between the release of the first and third films. A total of 5 rather unusual deaths have been associated with the 3 Poltergeist films. Dominique Dunn, who played the eldest daughter Dana in the first film, died on November 4th. November 4, not 4th, 4. I don't want to read the book wrong. I gotta be accurate. 1982, at age 22, after being strangled by her abusive former boyfriend. Heather O'Rourke, who played Carol Ann in all 3 Poltergeist films, died on February 1, 1988, at the age of 12 due to complications. I was laughing due to the February 1, not because of their death.
No, you're all right. You're all right.
Sorry, okay. At the age of 12, due to complications from an acute bowel obstruction or bowel.
Yeah, bowels. Yeah, it was bowels.
It says bowel obstruction, but it's probably bowel obstruction.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. And there was something else to that, dude.
Julian Beck, the evil preacher from Poltergeist 2, in 1986, suffered from advanced stomach cancer during filming and died on September 14, 1985, soon after the filming was completed. Lou Perryman, age 67, who had a bit part as a construction worker in the original Poltergeist, was the victim of a random killing at his home in Austin, Texas. And Will Sampson, who played the spiritual Native American in Poltergeist 2 in 1986, was a real-life shaman and 100% Muskogee. He was upset over the curse on the set and delayed production for hours to perform a Muskogee Creek blessing to clear the filming site of evil. It seems not to have worked. He perished less than a year later at the age of 53 from complications from a kidney failure after a heart and lung transplant on June 3, 1987. Is there a similar Mothman curse? I began looking at all the deaths associated with the Mothman sightings, Silver Bridge collapse, the investigations,
Don't
the
die,
books, the
Jeremy.
films, and the horizon appeared filled with many more deaths than 2 or 5. Since it has... Wait, okay. I was making sure it was recording. I forgot to check it was... Okay. And 2 or 5. Since it has become fashionable to create lists of those who have died by association to the JFK assassination, to other politicians, and to the Poltergeist movies, I began compiling the Mothman Death List, beginning with the original series of Mothman sightings of 1966 to 1967 to the release of the blockbuster movie in January 2002 to the various cable premieres and the VHS DVD releases later in 2002 and 2003. Just a year after the movie was released, I came up with a list of more than 80 people for the Mothman curse.
What?
Yes, some of those who died were old, and those linked to Mothman are growing older. Yes, we are.
Oh, yeah. Every day, dude.
I think it was talking about the original witnesses, not the people that make Mothman-themed music. I lumped myself in with the originals. Yes, we're getting older.
You can, you're allowed.
Wait, but several were victims of youthful deaths and bizarre passings. I have now updated the list, and for the first time ever, this book contains the complete list of Mothman-related deaths up through August of 2017. Even John Keel may have had an inkling of what would follow. In 1975, he wrote in the Mothman Prophecies that there would be many changes in the lives of those touched by Mothman, and a few would even commit suicide. The people he alluded to with these words remain unidentified, but I have gathered information on the 100 souls who seem tied to the events radiating out of Point Pleasant. I'm sure there are probably more. Is Mothman responsible for this evil? Read Appendix B, the Mothman Death List, and you be the judge. Okay, so I'm going to Appendix B. This book is interesting because the appendix is like bigger than the actual... The biggest part of the book is the appendix. Trying to find the part... Well, apparently the curse is just for death. Like, it doesn't factor in, like, horrible things happening, I guess. But I could still die, so we'll see. We'll see. If I die, you gotta say it's the Mothman Curse. Make sure my name gets in a future printing of this book. Call Lauren Coleman, contact him on Twitter, and add me to the list.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. Here's Appendix B. Mothman death list with associated events. Now, these are the Silver Bridge victims. People think, like, Mothman was an omen for this bridge collapse, like a harbinger of doom.
Cornstalk, Chief Cornstalk.
And this lists about a lot of the victims of that. And then there's just, like, pages and pages. I only like read a couple of these because there's just so many. It's like pages and pages and pages of people and, like, circumstances in. Like, for example, let's see. I'm trying to pick one that's like an example of the overall vibe of these. Let's see how they're linked. Wait.
Cells.
No, a lot of these are just like people dying of cancer and stuff. Let's see. Okay, here's the guy. I think that this is about the guy who made the Mothman statue. Okay, Bob Roach. In terms of cryptotourism, there are only a few statues and sculptures that have become meccas for people to cryptotourism. I think that cryptid tourism, because I think cryptotourism is like cryptocurrency or something. I don't know, but cryptid tourism. Anyway, in terms of cryptotourism, there are only a few statues and sculptures that have become meccas for people to journey and have their photographs taken in front of the artwork. Willow Creek's Redwood Bigfoot is one. The Loch Ness Monster replica in a pond in Scotland is another. And the Crookston Bigfoot in Portland, Maine's International Cryptozoology Museum is another. In Point Pleasant, West Virginia, the famed Mothman statue that sits in Gun Park in downtown Point Pleasant has become an international sensation. Of course, yes.
Because of that ass.
The statue was created by Bob Roach, one of Mason County's best-known residents and artists, who died at the age of 81 on August 30, 2015. It was Charles Humphreys who had the idea for a Mothman statue back in the early 2000s. In an interview with the Point Pleasant Daily Register, he recalled, "I went to see Bob Roach because I knew he could make it, and he'd been a buddy of mine for years. At first, he wasn't too interested in the creature, but after I talked to him a little, he agreed to make it. The first two pieces he brought to me to show were the statue's feet. From there on out, I went to see him as the statue progressed." Humphreys said a lot of research went into figuring out just what Mothman might look like, with Roach very much a part of that process, and then it became about his talent taking over. He could do about anything, especially with metal and built that was stainless steel. It'll be here 1,000 years unless someone throws it in the river, and even then it'll still be here another 1,000 years down there. It's going to be here for 3,000 years. It's never going to be thrown in the river. Imagine the riots if it was thrown in the river. Oh. Humphreys said when Roach was alive, he seemed defiantly surprised by the reception his Mothman statues received around the globe. Neither of us thought it would grow into what it is, but I knew it would make a difference in Point Pleasant. I knew people would come to see it. Humphreys said, "Damn right they would." Roach's sculpture has become the iconic stop for tourists visiting Point Pleasant. Every day, visitors to the town are seen posing for photographs with the sculpture, regardless of sun, rain, or snow. At one point, the Mothman Museum even installed a moth cam so international viewers could peek in and watch the tourists honor Roach's work. You can still tune into that on YouTube. I do it every once in a while. People are there like all the time. You can tune in like in the middle of the night and somebody's going to be there sometimes. Well, sometimes nobody's there, but I don't know. I'm really rambling. Okay, so during the Mothman Festival, upwards of 8,000 to 12,000 people take their turn into the statue. Now, this doesn't seem out of the ordinary to me. Like, he was 80 years old and he died. If anything, I would say that's lucky that he lived that long. Like, I feel like this list is just anybody that's anyway connected to Mothman is like, when they die, like, everybody dies at some time. Like, I feel like there's no really, like, nothing really strange about this. I feel like it's just like cherry picking kind of like bias. Like, it's like coincidence. Like, it can all be explained by coincidence. Like, but still, it's fun. And if I die, you guys have to say.
No, you're not gonna die.
I don't want to die, though. I don't plan on dying.
You're not.
But if I do, at least make it fun. Make me in the Mothman book. the reprinting of this. They'll have like a 30th anniversary edition of the Mothman Evil Incarnate book. Where it'll be like a box set of this and Lauren Coleman's other books. Special update edition with Jeremy in it. Hopefully that won't happen. But, just saying. Anyway. So, I hope you enjoyed.
Always.